Okay, so next you're gonna wonder if you should fly there or you should drive there. Obviously, part of this is gonna depend on where you're at. If you're pretty close, just get in your car and drive there. If you're farther away, like me, we are in Houston, and we are just far enough away that we could drive there and it'd be okay. But Kyle and I, we don't like to drive there. The last time we drove there, we were, I don't remember, because we've been so many times, early 20s, and we were like, maybe we were 21. Maybe we were younger. Maybe it was when we were like 19 or something. I don't remember. When we were younger, we drove. That last time we drove, and we were like, we're never driving again. And part of the reason is because for us, it cuts into our vacation time. So we like to fly. However, as you all may have noticed, airline tickets have gone up, and they charge for your kids as soon as they turn 2, which is annoying. And it's expensive to fly. Flying can be, you know, the same price as half your trip. It's crazy. So you just need to, that kind of is a personal thing. If you have extra vacation days that you don't mind spending on the road, great. If you don't want to sacrifice days at the park for being on the road, then fly and just save up the money. So that's got to totally be a personal thing. Yeah. In our situation though, we like to fly. We just save the money up for it, or we use credit card rewards or something. So that's how we do it. But that's definitely, you just gotta look at it. How much time do you have? If you have 3 days, then you're gonna wanna fly. If you've got 2 weeks, driving might be okay if you wanna save the money. So also remember to calculate your gas. Sometimes you don't save as much money as you think. Next is, what age is Disney World good for? And people were like, be honest, be brutally honest. So, okay, so first off, I think Disney World can be enjoyed by all ages, and I mean that sincerely. I really do. I think your 6-month-old will love Disney World, and so will your, 97-year-old grandpa. But obviously Disney World is more ideal for other age groups. So you just, when you go, you have to weigh, say that you're considering taking, like we are, we're in a situation where we have one child that's really probably a little young to go the way we want to, and one child that's kind of just at the right age. So we have to decide, is it worth it or not? So what you need to look at is, how do you as the adult want to do the vacation? If you go and you have an open mind and you remember, you know what, we may not get to ride everything that I as the adult want to ride. We may have to leave the park in the afternoon and go take a 2-hour nap and then come back. If you're flexible and you're willing to do that, you really can go with even a baby. If you don't want to go like that, if you want to go and you want to be able to ride most things, and you don't want to stop for naps, and you don't want to stop because your kid needs to go to the bathroom for the 27th time because they're 3 and they're just potty trained 6 months ago, then you might want to wait. So it's got to depend on you as an adult. And so for us, definitely, I would just highly recommend thinking through the type of vacation that you want. If you do not mind going and just having it be completely 100% about the children, then take them. And who cares if you miss Space Mountain? You'll get to ride it again in 5 years when the kids are older. But if you really want to ride Space Mountain and you really want to go to Disney World, well, then maybe you should wait. Maybe you have a good option for your child to stay. They'd have just as much fun staying with grandma, and you can go and be a kid and have fun. So yeah, I really think any age group's possible. I know a lot of people are like, I see people complain both ways. And people who don't have children, they'll complain about, why would you bring your 2-year-old? They won't remember. And that actually personally offends me, because I feel like even if your child's not going to remember, it doesn't mean that they don't get something out of it. So that should not be a reason, in my opinion, because one, your child will get something out of it. Every experience that your child has from the day that they're born helps shape them as a person, and it's an experience that they might not remember exactly, but they got to do, and they got to be exposed to things, and that is stuff that helps them grow. And also, you will remember your 2-year-old's face when they see Mickey Mouse and light up. You'll remember your 2-year-old's face when they threw the ice cream down and had a fit and had like sad lip. And it was really stressful at the time, but then it was hilarious later. You'll remember that. And I think that that counts for something. So never let somebody tell you that your child is too young to go. That's up to you. It's how much you're willing to. And like I said though, remember, if you're not willing to deal with that stuff, then don't bring them, because then that is on you. Okay, height requirements. So Disney has varying height requirements, but here is the kicker, okay? If your child is 40 inches, they can ride almost everything. 40 inches is a good goal. They can't ride every single thing, because there are some things that are like 48 inches, a couple of the roller coasters, but in general, almost every ride, 40 inches, they are golden. Before that, it does change a little bit, so you need to keep that in mind as well. But if your kid is 40 inches, you ride everything except the roller coasters. You can even, the kid can even ride Tower of Terror and drop on down and have a super good time. So 40 inches to me is a magical number. Okay, strollers. Yes, I know strollers annoy people who go to Disney World because they're everywhere and they park. But Disney World is a family place, and people have kids, and your kids don't want to walk everywhere. So if you want to take a stroller, take a stroller. I will tell you though that, you know, renting a stroller there would be pretty great. You don't have to bring yours, especially if you're flying. Also consider for the price of renting one, but if you don't want to travel with yours, because airline companies unfortunately are not very careful with your nice stroller at all. Go to the Walmart when you land and buy a $12, $20 umbrella stroller and then donate it to charity before you leave, because that's still cheaper than renting a stroller if you want to have your own. So that's just an idea. And if you think your kid can get away without having a stroller, great. But that's kind of like, you know, that might be a little tip, is that just rent one there, don't worry about it. Or consider buying one and then donating it to charity when you're done. Because that, like I said, you're not spending more money and you're giving it back at the end of the day. So you did something nice for somebody. Schedules with children. Don't have one. I mean, just go and let it play by ear. You'll have if you are bringing the kids and you've made that decision and you know you might not get to do everything, then also remember, don't worry about it. You know what? If your kid needs to go nap at 1 o'clock, go take them to nap and just don't sweat it. Because the more you sweat it, or the more you try to stick to a rigid schedule, or more you try to say, well, we got to be to this show at this time, the more stressed you're going to be when it doesn't work out. Just go to have fun and try to hit everything and try to relax and you know, just remember that you're there for the experience, and if you don't do every single thing, it doesn't mean that you didn't have the best time. And so to wrap up the like kid thing, you know, go for them and enjoy it as a parent, enjoy it for you, and you'll have a much better time. And that's kind of how I look at it. I think that if you go there with a positive attitude and you're not worried about missing out on stuff, you're gonna have an awesome time, point blank, you know? Then there's the dining options at Disney. So people wanted to know, are the dining plans really worth it? So Kyle and I have discovered, we've done the math on these dining plans, and we have found that if you are eating at one of the nicer sit-down restaurants every day, the dining plan will definitely save you money. They do have different levels of dining plans. They have one that's just quick service. Quick service at Disney just refers to any place where you walk up, you pick out your food and get a little tray and you go and pay the people and you eat. And then you've got the table services where you're going to go and sit and have a nice dinner, and then you've got dinner shows, etc. So the dining plan that they offer, it is a little pricey. It kind of makes people nervous when they add that into their trip and their planning, and their trip cost goes way up. But then you have to keep in mind, if you go and you add up what it costs to actually go to these restaurants daily, if that's what you do, you are going to save money. However, if that's not what you do, if you guys are going to be grabbing quick service more often, or you're bringing your own food, obviously it's not worth it. So you just need to decide like the kind of vacation you're going to do. We eat a lot, and part of the fun for us is eating at the fun restaurants that they have. So for us, the dining plan, totally worth it, because we do come out ahead. But like I said, you gotta look at it, what kind of vacation you want. If you're not gonna wanna go to these restaurants every day, if you're not dealing with that, if you're gonna bring your own food, obviously not worth it. Even the quick service level might not be worth it. But if you are, you should consider it. And they do have different levels, so you just have to look at the levels and decide which one sounds right for you. Okay, and then people wanted to know if it was a good idea to bring their own food and eat at the hotel because you're not bringing it into the park. That's a tough one, because some people really don't mind doing it. I do. I don't like to be like, okay, the kids are getting hungry, we gotta go catch the bus, go back to the hotel, we're gonna eat our sandwiches, catch the bus, come back. To me, that's just like a lot of extra work. But I know a lot of people who go who don't mind doing that at all, and they save money. So once again, how do you think about it? You know, is it worth it to you to run back to the hotel to eat? It's really not a big deal. I just don't want to do it myself personally. But like I said, I know people who do it all the time, and it's no big deal. So just, you gotta think about the pros and the cons of that. The, you know, pros being you're gonna save money, you know your kids are eating something they like, something that you've made, it's, you know, the food ready-made the way you want it, easy, whatever. The cons, you do have to go someplace else to eat, you know, you've gotta get yourself back to the hotel, you gotta interrupt what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. So you just gotta figure out, you know, would it be easier just to grab food in the park, but then it's more expensive. So yeah, just work out what you think, you know, will work better for you guys. Okay, then next is questions about like the different types of tickets. And basically when you go to Disney, you can buy, you know, tickets to each of the parks on their own. You can buy park hopper tickets. You can add the park hopper option onto a ticket, and that basically gives you a ticket that you're allowed to go to all the parks with one ticket. And then there's also the non-expiring tickets. So for us, what we do is when we go, we don't get the non-expiring tickets because we're far away. We don't live in Florida. Like, we know we're going to go those days, so we don't need to pay extra for the non-expiring, like we're gonna go there. And then but we do get the park hopper because we love the option of going to one park in the morning, another park for lunch, and another park at night. Maybe we'll go to one park for most of the day and then go catch the fireworks show at Epcot later that night. Like, we like that option a lot. So for us, the park hopper pass is totally worth it. And the non-expiring, I think, is kind of like whatever. Like, if you think you might not go and you're definitely coming back that year and you don't want your ticket to expire, of course. Otherwise, if you know you're going for this days, you're not coming back for another year or two, then don't bother upgrading to that. Park hopper, I definitely feel like it's very much worth it to get to go around. Obviously, if you're going to one park, you're going to Magic Kingdom for one day, then you might not want park hopper. But in general, if you're going to actually vacation there, I would definitely think it was worth it. Okay, the water parks. People want to know what those worth it. The water parks are a little pricey. The water parks, I've been to them both. They're really awesome. They're great. That being said, I wouldn't necessarily go again. I'm sure I'll go again at one point because the kids are going to want to, but even though we had a really good time, and the reason we went was because we had done a land and sea like Disney package, and they threw in the water park tickets, so they were fun. However, like where we live in Houston, we have some of the best in the area near Houston or surrounding areas. Best water park, you know, voted best water park in the country. So going to another neat water park doesn't necessarily like thrill me. Plus, when I go to Disney, as cool as their water parks are, I want to go to Disney World. I'm going to Disney World. I'm going to those parks. So I don't care as much about the water parks, even though I love water parks. So the water parks, it's going to kind of depend. I would say maybe if you plan on going to Disney many times in your life, do it once, because they're really cool. They're themed so well. Like, their themes are super fun. They're great. I had a good time. Just, you know, oh, and you know what? If you live someplace where you don't get to go to water parks, then I would definitely go. Go experience a water park. Not only a water park, but an awesome one. But if you live someplace where you go to water parks a lot, as cool as their water parks are, they're not that much cooler than a really nice water park that might already be near you. So water parks, it's definitely going to be kind of a, once again, just like everything else, figure out the kind of vacation you want. Do you want to take time out of the actual Disney parks to go do the water park? Do you ever get to do water parks? Because you might want to do them then. If you don't, blah, blah, blah. Figure it out, whatever you think it's worth. They are really cool. They're very neat. I didn't necessarily think that they were, you know, they didn't blow me away, but I did think they were really